He stared at his phone, refreshing her messages like they were a lifeline to his sanity. Days passed. Nothing, and it was like the floor had dropped out from under him. The silence wasn't just quiet, it was deafening. It echoed every insecurity he thought he had hidden. Was I not enough? Did I say something wrong? Did she ever even care? Let's be real. This wasn't about her. Not really. This was about something much deeper, something he had never fully confronted. Because the truth is, we don't break when people walk away. We break when we realize how much of our value was tied to whether they stayed. If you've ever felt that hollow ache when someone goes silent on you, if you've ever begged the universe for closure, attention, a sign, anything, then this video is for you. This is not about chasing her back. This is about finding the man who doesn't fall apart when someone else pulls away. Let's talk about how to become him. When she stopped texting you, it wasn't just silence. It was a punch to the chest. And I get it, you told yourself you were fine. You pretended it didn't matter, but it did. It mattered more than you want to admit. Because the silence wasn't just about her, it cracked something open inside you, and what spilled out? That raw, shaky question you never say out loud, am I not enough? But here's what most men miss, it's not the girl we're really aching for. It's the way she made us feel about ourselves. The version of us that felt chosen, desired, worthy, and when she pulls away, it feels like that version disappears too. You didn't fall apart because she left. You fell apart because your value was living in her hands, and when she took her attention away, it felt like she took your identity with it. This is the pain most guys never face. They move on to another girl, hoping she'll fix it. Hoping her smile, her reply, her presence will patch the hole left behind. But it never does, because you don't need her love, you need your own. You need to remember that you were someone before she walked in. And that man, he still exists. He's just buried beneath all the stories you wrote about what her silence means. So don't ask why she went quiet. Ask why her silence was so loud inside you. Until you can sit in the quiet and still feel whole. You'll keep handing your piece to anyone who offers you a moment of affection. This isn't about getting her back. It's about getting you back, and that starts now. You keep saying she rejected you. That she ghosted you. That it was cold, harsh, maybe even cruel. But what if I told you she didn't reject you? She just stopped giving you attention, and somewhere along the way, you started confusing the two. Attention and love, silence and rejection. That's not your fault. Most of us were raised to believe that love looks like someone texting us back. Someone showing up consistently. Someone giving us that feeling of being wanted. So when they stop, we panic, we think we lost something real, we think it says something about who we are, but the truth is silence isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's just reality catching up to a fantasy. Because if someone disappears without explanation, you didn't lose a soulmate. You lost someone who wasn't ready to love you in the way you deserve. And if you're honest with yourself, you probably felt it coming. The distance, the inconsistencies, the way you had to explain her behavior to your friends and even to yourself. You weren't chosen, but you weren't seen either, and that's the part that hurts the most. You thought the connection meant more. But now, her silence is teaching you something far more valuable than her presence ever could. It's teaching you that your worth isn't measured by how often someone thinks of you, but by how deeply you show up for yourself, even when no one else does. So don't sit there refreshing your messages, waiting for proof that you matter. She may have gone silent, but you still have a voice. Use it to remind yourself who you are, because love doesn't vanish when someone stops texting. That she feels safe, isn't it? How the ones who never fully chose us haunt us the most. She was never your girlfriend. You never had a title. You never called her yours, but it still felt real. Because the connection was electric. The texts were long, the nights were intense, and somewhere in between flirting and almost you fell. Not for her, but for the idea of her. That's what makes the almost relationship so dangerous. It gives you just enough to stay hopeful and never enough to feel secure. It's like emotional gambling. You keep showing up, thinking, maybe if I just hold on a little longer, she'll choose me. But she doesn't. Not fully, not clearly, and that keeps you addicted, because your brain wants closure. Your heart wants certainty. But the almost only gives you confusion and chemistry, and I get it. You felt something rare, and maybe so did she. But connection isn't commitment. Chemistry isn't consistency, and potential. That's the most expensive thing you can invest in when someone refuses to grow it with you. You weren't addicted to her. You were addicted to who you got to be when she paid attention. You became charming, needed, wanted. You felt like someone worth choosing. And now that she's gone, it's not just the connection you miss. It's the version of you that came alive in her presence. But here's the truth, you don't need her to feel that way about yourself. That version of you, he's not gone. He's still here. He just needs to stop waiting to be activated by someone else. You don't need another almost. You need a life so real and full that almost is no longer enough to hold your heart hostage. You say you're confused, that you don't know what happened, that she was into you 1 minute and cold the next. You replay the conversations, the emojis, the way she looked at you like you were the only one in the room. You swear there was something real there, and now, silence, you keep telling yourself you need answers. But deep down, you already know. You're not confused. You're just avoiding the truth, because accepting the truth means letting go of the fantasy. And fantasies, they're warm, they're safe. They let us believe in what could have been instead of facing what wasn't. Here's what most guys don't admit. We'd rather hold onto the pain than accept the reality, because at least with pain, there's still feeling. Still a thread, still a story we haven't finished telling ourselves. But when someone stops showing up for you, that is the answer. When she avoids hard conversations, when she keeps you guessing, when she goes quiet instead of being honest, that's not a mystery. That's a message. We just don't like what it says, because it says you weren't her priority. It says she didn't choose you fully. It says she liked what you gave her, but not enough to stay. And hearing that, it burns, but pretending you don't know. That will bury you. There is peace on the other side of truth, but you don't get there by begging for closure. You get there by standing in reality even when it hurts. Stop trying to figure her out. Start figuring you out. Why you keep giving your heart to people who don't know what to do with it. Why you stay where you're only halfway loved. Because you're not confused. You're just afraid to walk away from your own denial. Most guys take rejection like it's a final verdict. Like it's stamped something permanent on their identity. Not good enough, not attractive enough, not chosen. But rejection, it's not a death sentence, it's a mirror. It doesn't define you, it reveals you. It shows you the parts of yourself you've been hiding, avoiding, or clinging to so tightly that when someone walks away, they don't just leave with themselves, they leave with your peace. You say you're broken because she didn't pick you, but the deeper truth, you were already carrying a belief that you weren't enough. She just triggered it. That's what rejection does. It brings all your quietest fears to the surface. The fear of being invisible. The fear that if you really show who you are, they'll walk away. The fear that love is always going to feel like begging. But here's the twist most men never learn. Rejection doesn't mean you're unlovable. It means you're being given a chance to rebuild where you're still fragile. To stop tying your worth to someone else's emotional capacity, Because not everyone can see you. Not everyone should choose you. And thank God for that, because the people who can't choose you clearly, they're not meant to carry your heart. The mirror of rejection only hurts if you're still outsourcing your value. But if you lean into it, if you let it show you what still needs healing, it can become your greatest teacher. She didn't reject you. Life just handed you a mirror and asked, will you finally see yourself without needing someone else to? That's not punishment. That's the beginning of power. You keep waiting for the text, the apology, the "hey, I've been thinking about you," as if the right words from her could rewrite the ache she left behind. But what if she never calls back? What if the apology doesn't come? What if the only closure you get is your decision to stop waiting for hers? That's when everything changes, because there is nothing more magnetic, nothing more undeniable than a man who no longer needs validation to feel valuable. It doesn't mean you stop feeling. It doesn't mean you become cold. It means you feel it all. The confusion, the silence, the sting of being overlooked, and you stay standing anyway. You build your life like it matters even when no one's clapping. You take care of your body. You build a purpose. You show up in the world with a full heart, even if no one is currently holding it. That kind of man. He's dangerous, not to others, but to his old self, the one who used to chase crumbs, the one who mistook mixed signals for intimacy, the one who waited to be chosen instead of choosing himself. You don't win by getting her back. You win by not needing her to return in order to feel whole. Let her silence echo, and let it meet a man so deeply anchored in who he is that no unanswered message can shake him. No rejection can shrink him. This is what freedom sounds like. It's quiet, it's steady, it's you finally becoming the one you were waiting for. If this hits something in you, if you've been stuck replaying conversations that never finished, holding on to people who left without explanation, or questioning your worth every time someone goes quiet, I want you to know something. You're not broken, you're not too sensitive, you're not weak for caring. You're human, but this is the moment right here, right now, where you stop abandoning yourself every time someone else does. This is where you start choosing you, not out of ego, but out of honor, out of respect, because your heart has value, your time matters, and your peace, that's sacred. So if this message helped you breathe a little deeper, if it made you feel seen, or helped you finally let go of something that's been weighing you down, then do me one favor. Don't keep this to yourself. Like this video if it spoke to your soul. Drop a comment if you've ever been haunted by silence. Tell your story, or just say, I'm healing. Share this with a brother who needs it, and subscribe not just to this channel, but to yourself, to your growth, to your healing, to the man you're becoming, because the version of you who doesn't wait by the phone anymore, he's already in you. Let's go find him.